they've got to do it all themselves, unable to find hired help.
Not only the talk, it is the problem.
The labor shortage hits cattlemen, but they still take time to attend NCC, the Classic. Plus, farmers say Mexico is doubling down on its biotech corn position. We continue our special report. And celebrating the future of agriculture, we wrap up FFA week. It's time to grow. Genetic technology has transformed agriculture, and if Mexico is going to challenge established science, farmers like this one say it's time to hold their feet to the fire. While his boys play in the mud, Michael Bergen recently cleaned up for a trip to D.C., where Nebraska farmers say they heard promises from Mexico that a ban on GMO corn would be eased. But Bergen says that's not what happened.
They really doubled down on their position, and was pretty disappointing to hear that.
Mexico now says it'll allow yellow corn for livestock feed, but not white corn for tortillas.
That is not a trade-off we're willing to make. We will not sacrifice white corn at the altar of being able to continue to sell, I don't know, animal feed.
And when the rest of the world sees Mexico get away with something like this, you better believe that other countries are going to try to do similar.
Congressman Adrian Smith is concerned at the precedent this could set. As he says, it's now time to enforce the U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement.
Saying we need to take action here. It is such a flagrant violation of the USMCA.
One of the architects of that trade deal says it has a brand new enforcement mechanism.
It's designed to work at the speed of commerce, work in a matter of weeks, not in a matter of years like we've always had in the past. The point to be made, though, is that is the last resort. You don't want to have to go down that road. You'd much rather work this out diplomatically.
Corn growers like Andy Jobman say talks should continue, but he'd like to see the Biden administration initiate a dispute.
We have this uncertainty of what's going to happen to this market. What kind of signal does that send to our other markets around the world? We need to remain strong on this issue.
Jobman says Mexico's president needs to consider the consequences.
To suddenly put a halt on that trade would increase food prices and food inflation in the country of Mexico.
It is in Mexico's best interest to see their way through and resolve this issue.
And from farmer Michael Bergen's view, the consequences are great if Mexico doesn't follow the science on GMOs.
We really feel at this point we need to hold their feet to the fire.
It goes beyond GMO corn to Mexico's position on the herbicide glyphosate. The Nebraska Corn Board and Nebraska Corn Growers Association releasing a joint statement calling for an immediate response from the U.S. Corn Board Chairman Jay Reiner says, quote, "We trust the science, and so should Mexico. We refuse to sacrifice the science or the growing of white corn used for human consumption for yellow corn and livestock feed. Mexico cannot feed their people alone. They need U.S. farmers," end quote. From 7-year-olds to young adults earning their college degrees, the Classic brings people together. NTV's Lauren Bentley has more.
Whether it's their first time competing or their 10th year in the game, oftentimes family support brings young competitors to Kearney to compete in the Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic.
Growing up doing it, I really understood the life lessons that it taught me.
It's a week-long event with everything from cattle shows and sales to judging contests, and many kids do it because they were raised in it.
It is what our family does. It is our family legacy. We have been farming and showing and judging for a long time.
But the joy of competing keeps them coming back each year.
You know, there's contests like livestock judging, like competing in showmanship and showing your market or breeding animal. Or if you're wanting to get started out and buy maybe your first heifer to start off your cow herd, you can come do so.
Competitors say the nerves still follow them while they compete.
Actually being the one into the show ring and actually judging, it's a lot more intense than what I was doing, and I could have never imagined that it was this intense.
But showing off what they've learned and perfected makes all the hard work worth it.
My favorite part is doing the reasons, because my first year I wanted to say like 7 sets of reasons, and it was so much fun.
When you get in there, you just got to say why you did what you did. why did you place that cow there and that cow there?
And making their families proud is another reason why they do what they do.
And my sister and I really like this contest.
There's a lot of families that now have 4 generations that have been a part of the Classic, and I think that speaks very loud as far as the dedication and the amount of the youth we're raising. We talk about the beef we're raising here in the state of Nebraska, but even to take pride of these kids that we're helping raise.
Now putting on an event like this and helping with an event like this, I recognize how hard it is to get those individuals. So if I can be a person that says yes and influences a younger youth just getting started, then that warms my heart, and that's truly living out my purpose of giving back to an industry that has really built me into who I am today.
The Nebraska Cattlemen's Classic has events throughout the year, and for those preparing for their first one to carry on the family legacy, the advice to them is simple.
Just don't get nervous. Good luck.
The workforce crunch hits agriculture. Cattlemen feeling the effects of not being able to find hired help. Auctions are action-packed at NCC, the Classic.
It's an awesome event.
But getting away from the ranch is increasingly tough for many cattlemen.
That is not only the talk, it is the problem.
Vision Angus recruits area college kids, but competition off the farm is tough.
That's the biggest thing, is what are you competing with? And then if you are outside most of the day with livestock in maybe mucky conditions, you've got to find individuals that want to be in that environment.
With heifers ready to calve and snow coming, Brandon Birchie didn't want to leave the job to hired help.
I kind of had a guy lined up to keep an eye on him at home while we were down here, but then with the nasty weather coming through, we knew somebody had to stay home and keep an eye on our own cattle there.
His wife took on that duty in addition to running her own business. Ranch families feel the stress.
It's getting harder and harder if you don't actually have family members that can stay home and you have enough of them to make it work, especially now as we're getting later here into February, March, April, we start calving and you get spread pretty thin, but you got to make money too, so.
USDA data shows farmers and ranchers are paying their help more these days. 2022 numbers show those on the northern plains paying about $16 to $17 an hour. Brent Wieselmeyer says he's had to step up pay to land quality help.
The offers that we're going to make, we've never dreamed of offering in the past, but we think we've got to make a tremendous offer to try to get those folks. Once you've identified the right person, you've got to go to the moon to get them here.
We talk about a bull with a lot of style and a lot of class.
Some say guest visas for foreign workers are in the discussion, saying they've got to consider all options. Meanwhile, the Classic has compressed its schedule of cattle sales, and those like Brandon Birchie say they make a point to be here.
We needed to come down here and sell our cattle and market them, so.
So many ranching families say they're left to do it all themselves, and that certainly increases to the stress level among all the other things they're dealing with.
This is the 32nd annual NCC The Classic, but more than an event for cattlemen of all ages, this event also focuses in giving opportunities to the next generation of leaders in the beef industry. The event kicked off on Saturday the 18th with the Youth Beef Livestock Judging Contest with around 500 youth in the building. During the week, it's all about the cattle shows and sales, shows for foundation cattlemen, those who want to promote their program and also provide opportunities to the next generation of cattlemen.
This year, the Classic revamped their schedule to try and better accommodate our cattlemen. One, the cattlemen that are having challenges, they can't spend more than one day away from the ranch to be in town due to labor issues. And two, to accommodate and bring more opportunities to the next generation, our youth.
Let's give everybody a big round of applause. A really nice variety in this.
This year, the Classic presented over $15,000 in cash prizes and awards for the youth who have been part of their scholarship program for the past year. The Classic also offers the Aspiring Young Cattlemen AYC program, where an experienced breeder is paired up with a youth. They partner on a heifer, and the youth shows that heifer throughout the country. 18-year-old Spencer Wolochowski lived the experience.
I was partnered with J.J. Beeler, who's a Gelbvieh breeder, and prior to the AYC program, I'd never even heard of the Gelbvieh breed. So now, after this experience, I now show Gelbvieh cattle. So I guess overall, it's just changed my entire perspective on the cattle industry. It's just overall a great experience, and I would suggest it for anybody.
Tonight at 10, we'll tell you more about the opportunities the Classic offers to the youth.
Reporting in Kearney, Arisol Ventura.
Later, we celebrate FFA Week. Up next, more on Rodeo Grand Island.
Hello, I'm Landon Webb. I'm from Central City FFA, and I love FFA because I like to weld.
Hi, my name is Leighton Dallin. I'm from Central City FFA, and I like FFA because I got to show my goats.
This portion of NTV's Grow is sponsored by Acres Equipment, solutions for every field. Acres has what you need to get the job done.
It's a sport born on the ranch. Dirt flies as they ride. Even if there was no money on the line, Denton Good would be in the saddle.
You either love it or you hate it, and I guess that's why we do it, because we love it.
If you want to find him, check the rodeo schedule.
Constantly. If I'm not on the road, I'm at the ranch.
It's a sport born out of skills cowboys have needed through the generations.
It's a throwback in time. You know, you get to come see how cowboys did it 100 years ago, and that's a great thing to watch.
And just to see the tradition and the heritage of rodeo is really cool.
Rodeo Grand Island launched in 2017 and continues to grow. Much like ranching, it's a family affair.
We're in our 6th generation, and the grandpas and the dads got a good start here for us, and I've got 3 kids that are business partners with me, and they're all involved in wanting to make it be better every year.
About Sutton's is they come from farm and ranch background. They can relate to all of us, and they want the people to have fun. They want everybody to enjoy Rodeo Grand Island. So
many competitors are young, hungry for a chance to make the National Finals Rodeo. That journey starts now as they earn prize money and gas money to make it to the next stop.
Yes, with rodeo, it kind of makes a living. With diesel prices, we're happy to break even, I guess you should say. I got a fencing company at home, and then I'm an auctioneer too.
Denton Good has no trouble staying busy. Rodeo is a tough life, hard work for all involved, as they hope it's a getaway for the fans.
Vacation for a couple hours, come out and have fun. So,
our Grow Weather Outlook is next.
I'm Caitlin, I'm from Aurora FFA, and I love competing in poultry judging.
My name is Haley Finn, and I'm from the Twin River FFA chapter, and the one thing I love about FFA is being able to meet all the new people and still being involved in agriculture.
NTV's Grow Weather is sponsored by Acres Equipment, solutions for every field. Acres has what you need to get the job done.
Well, the drought monitor this week still showing very dry conditions across Nebraska and Kansas. Get a closer look at the state of Kansas right now, where the drought is at. Abnormally dry for 87% of the state, which is actually a pretty big improvement of around 6% over the last week. Moderate drought still looking at roughly 74.5% across the state. Severe drought, roughly 2/3 of the state still in that category right now, so roughly 66-67% of Kansas in severe drought. Extreme drought, 53% of the state, which is a slight improvement, and also have a slight improvement in the exceptional category, still 35.5% in that. Drought monitor for Nebraska, still roughly the same as what we saw last week, where we have pretty much almost 100% of the state in some sort of abnormally dry condition, 99% of the state in a moderate drought, 79% of Nebraska in severe drought. Extreme, we're looking at 40% in that category, and exceptional still hanging on to 9%. So not much of an improvement there, but hopefully improves over the next, say, week with all this rain that we could get. The temperature outlook for the month of March, equal chances, so pretty average around most of Kansas and most of Nebraska, maybe slightly below average for parts of northern Nebraska, maybe slightly above average for parts of extreme southern Kansas. And we look ahead to precipitation for March. Looks pretty normal for precipitation, maybe some slight above average in parts of extreme northeast Nebraska. Otherwise, still looks like a pretty normal precipitation outlook for the month of March. For the next 3 months, for temperatures, looking at pretty average temperatures really across the board from Nebraska, most of Kansas, maybe slightly warmer, and in parts of extreme southwest Kansas for the next 3 months. Temperatures and precipitation-wise for the next 3 months, also looking at pretty equal chances, so really average precipitation values expected for most of Kansas and Nebraska the next few months as well. Your grow week ahead, looking at it really a pretty nice week overall to start off the week. Temperatures in the 50s to start us off on Monday and Tuesday. Maybe a slight chance of rain potentially on Tuesday. And then 40s on Wednesday, dropping a little bit in temperatures on Thursday where we have potential for more snow in the forecast, but temperatures by the end of the week do climb back up into the 40s yet again. Now, taking this from an almanac perspective, normal high this time of year right around 44, normal low right around 22. For the week ahead, looking at just slightly above average high temperatures at 46 and slightly above average low temperatures right around 26 for the next week. And your grow proverb this week, with the chance of rain and thunderstorms Sunday night, here you go. For every thunder with rain in February, there will come a cold spell in May. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait until May to find out for sure. That's a look at this week's Grow Weather. Join us next week when it's time to grow.
We sure have enjoyed seeing your snow photos. It's nice to feature some pictures showing some moisture. If you've got some photos and videos you want to share, go to our website, nebraska.tv, and chime in. And we celebrate FFA Week next.
Hi, I'm Callie Simons. I'm from Boone Central. My favorite thing about FFA is meeting new people.
I'm Logan McGuire. I'm from the Northwest FFA chapter, and I love when we get to go and meet with other chapters and socialize.
FFA Week highlights how many Nebraska schools have added agricultural education. That means there's a need for more teachers.
Yeah, we are definitely in a teacher shortage. That is a good place for us to reach out to the kids who are in the program now, and they don't actually have to even be in an ag program. We have a lot of teachers who are now teachers that were not in agriculture classes before. So agriculture is the main focus of our lives, really. Without agriculture, we wouldn't be around. And so being able to teach kids about those life situations.
Because as the number of programs have grown and there's also been a number of teachers who probably retired, is there a need for some more teachers in ag education?
We are at a shortage right now. There's not enough teachers for the openings that we have. So not only in agriculture, but in education in general, there are a lot of openings around.
Ag education can take on a lot of different forms.
Absolutely. So my program at Heartland does not look like my husband's program at Hampton. Hampton, they have cattle, they have chickens, they focus on a lot of other things. My program is traditionally a mechanics program, and so they do a lot of welding in the shop, and the kids do more ag projects rather than working with the animals.
We are visiting with Emma and Brooke. We are learning about the Hampton herd. Tell me about that, you guys.
So our Hampton Hog herd has been launched for a couple of years. We actually started it back in like the COVID year, where we just really kind of borrowed a cow-calf pair, and then we started our own production after we got back into the school year, and it's really just grown. We went from like one steer, and then we started just the reproduction process, and we've had we've had 4 on-site calves be born, and then one of them we just actually completed the full process of, so it's really cool to see that.
Sent him off yesterday to get processed, and our program will take all of that from him back to our program to eat for school lunch.
So when you say on site, you're talking, you have animals you keep at
Yes,
school
we
then?
feed them, we take care of their pens, we did an insemination process, so we got to learn how we got to impregnate them, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's a small class called large animal management at the end of the day, and then for the last like 30 minutes of the day, they go out there and feed them. And we've been really fortunate to get a lot of our corn and food donated, which is amazing because that's what helps them grow and everything. So we've really expanded it too. We started with just one or two pens, and now we've up to 7. Yeah, we're up to like about 7 pens. So it's really, and we've even done a corn test plot too, which is really good because I'm from an in-town. I've never had a farm experience, so I was able to show corn at the state fair, which I've never been able to do, which is really nice.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There maybe are some kids who are just totally in town, or maybe there's kids who have a row crop but not the livestock, and just to give kids an opportunity to see maybe different things than they
yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
it's really cool, and
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and we get to see the babies. We get to watch them grow up. We name them. The animal lab does a lot of that, and it's pretty cool.
We certainly have enjoyed celebrating FFA Week along with 4-H Month. And of course, we celebrate those 4-H and FFA young people all year long. Make sure to check out our Farm Youth of the Month, the 3rd weekend of every month. And we'll see you back here again next time as we see how agriculture makes Nebraska grow.